Welcome to Zaza Zooms In. I'm still talking to my friend, my longtime friend Sandra, and this time we're talking about, sometimes they say a woman can't have it all. You can't have it all. Something has got to give. And I always look at Sandra as somebody that pretty much has it all. She's got a business, a successful business, she's married, she's got children, and she seems to juggle the balls very well. So I wanted to catch up with her to find out whether she thinks that a woman can have it all. And if so, how? How did she get to where she is today? This is what she had to say. Because I just think that as a woman, we have so many things, so many balls that we're juggling, so many things that we're doing. And there's always this thing about, some people say you can have it all, some people say you can't have it all. I was thinking about you and I was thinking, well, okay, Sandra is, well, your husband tells me you're a good wife, so I will take his word for it. He might be lying, you can tell me otherwise if you want. But anyway, he says,
I don't know what else he wants.
I love it. So there you go, well, he says you're a good wife. But you're obviously a very successful businesswoman. Do you think, so I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, obviously you can be a good wife and you can be a successful career woman, businesswoman, whatever. But there are a lot of people that think that that's not possible. So I know that you live in a country where you have help. Do you think that anything gave? How did you understand? And you've done this thing for years, so it's not like you were successful overnight. I get that. But do you think it's possible? Because I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, of course it's possible to be a good wife and a successful businesswoman. But I know that a lot of people that don't think so. Just because even when I look at myself, I'm like, I can't do everything. But obviously we live in different countries, so slightly different. So I just wanted your, like, what do you think?
I mean, it is possible.
Okay.
It definitely is possible because, I work. I think my business is doing well. And, I have a family. Of course, you know that Carlos is abroad.
Yeah.
So, I don't have to worry about him so much. But then I have to travel.
But he's only recently gone abroad.
He's only recently gone abroad, exactly. And then I have Gabriela here. And then, of course, there's Femi. Let me start from the beginning. I'll say that initially it was difficult because of staff, this person leaving, and the kids were a lot younger. So I'll stay home for longer, but not go to work. And then here it's different. If you're running your own business, you can take your children with you. So I used to take the baby with me and then, take the nanny to work. So I could kind of do both.
Yeah.
So that's how I worked then. And then when I got good hands, I would leave the baby at home or leave the children at home, go to work, be in touch all the time, and then go home.
So do you think that anything that you had to sacrifice anything to be successful? So initially, in those, obviously because of the situation, you could bring the baby to work. Do you think there was anything that, maybe even in your marriage, that you had to sacrifice for a period whilst you built the business? Or was it just seamless?
No, I don't think I had to, I wouldn't say I had to sacrifice anything per se, but I think it's also because my husband was pretty much involved in the emotional side of things. So it wasn't like he was involved in the business, but he, at least I never felt as if there was anything lacking at home.
Yeah.
So I would come home, 5 o'clock, he's not back yet, kind of sort things out, even though I had someone cooking, but I took care of him, even though I was working.
Did you do that deliberately? Was that priority? Were you intentional about that? As I need to take care of this one? Or was it
I think it came naturally to me also because of my upbringing. That was how I grew up and that's what I know. So I do that anyway.
It's interesting because I just think that sometimes you look at people like yourself. So someone like me, I can look at you and think, how does she do it? Now obviously, like I said, I know it's different because you have help and it's a different environment. But I often think, like, what we say often is that something has to give. There is no way you can be. And I always feel like we can be everything, we can do everything, but maybe not at the same time. So I'm thinking now that from what you're saying, a supportive spouse is essential.
Key. Yes.
And then if you can take, so the way you managed to make it work, that so you didn't really miss out on the kids whilst you were doing the business and everything, so then you now managed to make it.
I'll do the school run. I did the school run every single morning for 15 years.
Okay, you see, so it's interesting now because I remember somebody asking me a question and saying, do you think you have to sacrifice anything for the kids? And I was trying to explain that for me, something I do in the school run, it's not a sacrifice because they didn't ask to be here. That's just part and parcel of what I have to do. So I didn't see it as sacrifice. So I'm thinking that's kind of
Yes,
same
no, I'm
with
not
you.
saying it's a sacrifice.
No, I know you're
Yeah.
not, but that's what I'm saying. So all the things that I'm now thinking, oh, did you have to sacrifice anything? I think you didn't sacrifice because that's just how it was going to be. So you made it work.
Yes,
as opposed
exactly.
to-
So I included it in my day.
Yeah.
You know, I would drop the kids off at school and then come back, go to the gym. At times I was going to the gym, or if I had an early start, I'll go straight to work. But I'll usually stop back at home to make sure that Femi is ready for work, and then I'll come. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
You know, so I've kind of always done that. So he's like my third child, you know. So I'll, make sure, yeah, exactly, make sure that is done, and then carry on. Okay, he's eating. Okay, blah blah blah. He's going to work now, and then I'll take off, go to work, and then usually I come back before him anyway, and then the kids come home 3-4 o'clock. Some days I try and get in at that time before lesson starts, so that I'm there, and then there after lesson. So there's that bonding time. I mean, it's gotten easier, of course, because they're older.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I have just one child at home. She has lessons like in the evenings till 6. If they're swimming, lessons. I have a nanny that takes her. Sometimes I'll stop in and see what they're doing. So I wouldn't say there's been that much of a sacrifice that I've had to do at home. That's because I'm in Nigeria.
Yeah, obviously.
So it's a totally different story.
It's a completely different ballgame
Yes,
in other
exactly.
things. So it's just interesting because I think I do think that wherever I actually think that women have the capacity to do amazing.
Absolutely,
We can do so
yes.
many things. But I think that sometimes we limit ourselves because of situations. Because one of the things is, I like the way you said I brought them into work. Because one of the things that I've started doing maybe the last 3 years, not for very long, is looking at my life and then putting into the slots.
Like, look, my table there.
Yeah.
It's for Gabriella.
Okay,
So
she can come
so
and
that
do work.
she can come and do work here. Like, she has exams now, so I was thinking on days that she doesn't have exams, she can come in here and study or do whatever she has to do, so that I'm still involved in her life, I'm still around her, and
Once you
we're
can
carrying
get
on.
with
Yes,
what
exactly.
You see, I think that's because that's, I mean, like I said, I've only been doing it for like 3 years, where
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to be at school run for half an hour, park for half an hour before I pick up. So let me take my skipping rope and skip.
Yeah.
Or let me, where I've started putting in things into my normal life
Yes.
that I want to have
Yeah.
there. And I think it's made a huge difference because now I feel like I'm doing everything.
Yes,
You-
I'm
you
being
know-
ahead. Getting up early
Yeah.
for me has been, that's
What
the
time do you
magic.
get up?
5:30.
Every day.
So yes, but I mean, a lot of people here get up at 4 or 5. So at 5:30, getting up early or just being ahead of everybody else is key. Getting up early, making sure okay, the machines are on, laundry is being done. Everything is mechanical. Okay, my daughter is up. Okay, she's having a shower. She's getting ready. Femi is running or doing whatever. Then I'm, prepping for the day. Basically, to discuss with cook what is happening today.
But you see,
It's
there's a lot
mechanical.
of-
There's
yeah,
a lot
it's like,
of
yeah,
things
it's-
are going on. So you have to be
yeah.
able to multitask.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of ahead of everybody. Then by the time they are going, you are ready to go as well. And then try and get back before everybody else
So
if
that
you
you
can,
can,
and if
yeah.
not, then you're in touch with the house. But it's not like England where there's nobody. And if there is, they'll tell you they're leaving at
Yeah, they're not spending.
yeah, exactly, they're not spending that. And then here, there's so much family around that if I had to do something, or if my kids had to do something and I couldn't be there, my sister
Somebody
can come
can
in,
be, yeah.
my mom can go. It's not like in England where everybody's busy. Not that we're not busy here, but
It's a completely
it's just a
different life.
completely
It's a
different
completely
life.
different
It's
life.
a completely
I think
different
so.
life. It
I
just
think so.
is,
Yeah.
But a lot of things you have to be purposeful about them.
I think that's the key
Otherwise,
thing
things
that I
just
think I
slide,
have to
and then you wake up one day and think, "Oh my God, I don't have a relationship. I'm just I'm just a tenant here.
Yeah.
We're just living." So we had to even do date nights on Thursdays. We don't do it anymore somehow or the other, but we keep saying we should start because you work, he works, then you come back, and then all you're talking about are problems. Yes,
That's so true. That's
you're talking about problems.
Yeah.
You're not talking about each other, and you're not bonding. You're not spending time. So we used to do date nights, which was great because 7 o'clock we go out, and days we didn't want to
you
go
literally
out.
went out, so not necessarily date nights.
We went
at home.
out,
Yeah.
and so some the odd time we didn't want to go out, we'll have date nights at home, do a takeaway, shut the door of the den, and just be on our own,
Yeah.
just gisting, but just about us, not about
This thing
anybody
is so
else.
important because I think the whole thing about women is you become a wife, somebody's wife, somebody's mother, you lose yourself inside it, and I think a lot of women struggle to find themselves, and I think that the husbands struggle with that as well because it's almost like a guilt because they know that you're being their wife, you're being their children's mother, So they don't want to be saying, where is my wife?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Inside their head, they're thinking, where's the girl I married?
Yeah.
And I think there's an onus on us to make sure that we keep that. It's hard to be a woman, Sha,
It is.
but it's good.
Yeah.
But I love it. Sorry, I wanted to ask you what time you go to bed. When you say you wake up at 5, do you go to bed particularly early?
Not really. Well, between like 11 and 1.
Okay. So you get 4 hours sleep sometimes?
No, I mean, if I go to bed at 11.
But if you go to bed at 1, you said
I won't. Yeah, between 11 and 1. The days I go to bed at 1, I
you
mean,
probably won't wake up at 5.
I'll wake up at 5 and then have like an extra hour
Somewhere
once my daughter's gone to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I think the key things that I've taken out of this is women can do everything.
Absolutely.
We can. We have the capacity. We just have to
Sure
dig
do.
into it. We need support.
Yes.
Either from people that are helping us, also from our spouse. I think that spouse one is so key because I think a lot of women, I don't know, I think it takes a very
Sometimes
strong
men don't care about that support aspect. They want this and they want it done. They don't really.
Yeah, no.
They don't need to tell you anything, but you know, and you get the vibe that okay, well, this is what he wants at this time, or this is how he wants it done. It doesn't matter how I do it and what I'm doing. I have to make sure it's done. You know, so you just adjust and do it.
But I think that it takes a strong man. I mean, I think my husband is guilty of this. Guilty in a good way of this. But I think it takes a strong man to be able to let the woman be. Just, let her thrive and to allow her to fly. And I think sometimes some men struggle with that. Again, you know what I mean? So we're lucky that we have men that are happy
exactly.
to let us be. But effectively, we need the support of our spouse, we need the support of people. This is one of the things I always say. It took me a long time to ask for help because, I mean, I don't know, you just get on with it and you don't ask for help. But I had to learn to ask for help.
Yeah.
And in the UK especially, because obviously here you're paying your help. But in the UK, if I'm like, now I do it, so I don't care. You have to have a huge support system as a mother, as a woman.
Yeah,
you need a huge support
Yeah.
system, people that you can call on for anything at any time. So I think that's so you need your help, you need your support. Well, help, support, same thing. You can do anything, and what else?
She believes she could,
Yeah,
so she did.
I love that.
It's on my board.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what we're going to put at there.
Yeah.
She believes she could, so she did.
She
But
did.
that's so true because you have to believe in yourself.
You have to
as well.
believe in yourself.
You have to believe in
Yes.
yourself as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Can you be it all? Can you have it all? Well, my conversation with Sandra shows that you probably can, as long as you have the right support system in place, you are willing to ask for help, and you are intentional. So, yes, there's seasons of life, and at certain times you can't be doing certain things just because of the season that you're in. But as an overall, you can be who you want to be. You can do what you want to do, but you need to have a good support system and you need to be intentional. There's a challenge. God bless you.